is over the last from the time he started playing in 2017. Look at that first year, a real breakout year in 2017. 2018, it usually happens after you've excelled in your first year, where there's a bit of a slump. 2019, so for those 17 games in 2018 and 2019, he had a learning process, which is important in Test cricket. 2020, just one game, got 68. I think he's on the up. That's my feeling. I think he is on the up as time will go by.
Yeah, that's up to 2021, and I quite agree, Hashim, that you don't necessarily get found out, but they learn about you, all the bowlers on the circuit, and they figure out a way in which they're going to try and go against you. And this is now from 2018 to 2022, and you look through there, and it's sort of all sort of up and down, isn't it? And I wonder how much in terms of not regular test match cricket for South Africa that has to do with it.
Yes, I absolutely agree. It's not considered as a major achievement scoring runs in test cricket these days, unfortunately, and you play less and less of test cricket. I mean, a 2 test match series is a nothing series. There's no real urge to, then go out there and win and prove a point. I think it has to be minimum 3 test match series that allows an out of form player to come back into form as well in a 3 test match series. And I think what he needs to do also, this brief sample that we had a look at the other day, is to maybe engage himself in taking those 1s and 2s also. So that develops your batting rhythm. You see him hitting the ball hard, and whenever it's in his zone, that's gone through the offside for a 4. So maybe he's a 4 hitter than a single taker.
No, that's true, Ramesh. He's a boundary hitter. And when he first came on the scene, we all appreciated that he was a type of, got into the mold of David Warner, where they hit boundaries and you've got 3 slips and a gully and there's a lot of space in the field, and they always feel the best time to score is when there's no fielders, and he took full advantage of that. But I really like the point that you mentioned about the 1s and the 2s, and 2s is not an issue because he's a great runner between wickets. The 1s, what it tells you is you're playing with soft hands, and to be at the top of the order, and if you're going to bat long enough, you have to be able to ride the ball with soft hands. And I say ride the ball, I mean when the ball bounces a little extra or more than you've anticipated, the ability to absorb the pace of the ball, let the bat take the absorption so the ball goes down to the slips and into the keeper area, which is what top order batting is key on surfaces that have a bit for the bowlers.
And as you look at the weather and the rain continues to fall on a pitch like this one, and we'll say again that 89 is very valuable. And let's talk about the pitch, because later on here comes Corbin Bosch. Everyone's told him how tough it is in test match cricket. He's got a wicket with his first ball. He's finished with 4 in the innings.
Tough? What tough?
And everyone's saying how hard it is on this pitch, and he walks out to bat, and at first, big booming drives they were. He missed quite a few of them, but he was quite happy to still go at them. You'll see many a drive here, and he got more and more confident as he went on. And in the end, he runs out of partners. What a knock this is, and how valuable these 81 runs are, because they essentially are the difference on first innings.
Yeah, but you always feel that the best teams are the teams that contribute at the bottom of the innings, because you always have 3 or 4 quality teams in international cricket where their batters are scoring runs, but which lower order batsman or which lower order team is contributing the most? And that's why South Africa are where they are. They're top of the log in the World Test Championship, because people like Bosch have contributed. Rabada, highest score on debut. I was surprised to see a few names there. Darren Gough, and then Mondi Zondeki, 59 on debut. Another South African, fantastic. And then you obviously have Vincent at the bottom. But I remember watching Mondi bat quite surprised when he got 59, but the application, and that was at a time when South African cricket was also very strong, because your lower order contributed. That's the point, that your lower order has a huge role to play in getting your team out of trouble and into winning positions.
Yeah, and an era, or I suppose you could even say a reputation of all-rounders in the South African setter. If you go back to his time and think of Pollock and Kloosner and Nicky Boyer and Andrew Hall, and you could go through quite a few more, Justin Kemp, all these guys who were bowlers. You'd wonder if they were bowlers or batters, and yes, primarily they'd enter the team as bowlers and could bowl really well, but could bat as well. So yeah, that 59, quite fabulous. Leeds, I think it was, in 2003.
You stick together, you see a lot of each other on a tour, and so that camaraderie and that oneness can get you through troublesome periods. And I think Pakistan, in that regard, may have a little bit of advantage, but at the end of the day, I think it will be up to Babar Azam and Rizwan and Saud Shakil to make it happen. So drag this score to maybe with a lead of 150 at least, and just then bowl like a breeze to make it tough for South Africa. It's obviously South Africa with a huge advantage. Every time they get a lead of 50 plus here, they won. 11 times they've led by 50 plus and they've won. So I mean, the record, the stats favor South Africa, but Pakistan may have the last laugh. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? That is always a definitive point at the end, but I would rather in this occasion be in South Africa's team. When you are, if you have a score of 180 to chase, it's an iffy score, and yes, Pakistan will stand a chance, especially if they get South Africa 30 for 3 or 40 for 3. But as it stands, I'd rather be in the South African team. You do feel that with the way that they bowled well, I've been very impressed with their bowling. They've had good areas, and in some moments I felt that they've bowled better than South Africa have. It's just that South Africa have applied their batting better, and I think that's what South Africa will be relying on, that they are applying their batting better, being more disciplined outside of stump to get at least to a score of 180. They don't want that, but if it had to come, I think they'll be able to handle it.
A bit of synergy, I guess, as I think about, well, not quite, what's happening down under with Australia and India. India, what were they, 221 for 7 at some stage, and really staring down the barrel with 474 having been scored. And now Nitish Kumar Reddy, who's low in the order actually, as you look at their scorecard, he's in after Ravi Jadeja. So yeah, down at 8, and he's got 100. Something similar required here from a Pakistan perspective, and it can happen. Hashim, take us back to a test match you were in Melbourne, where something similar, very similar, happened and the game turned on its head.
Yeah, it's the case of your lower order being so crucial, and we can't say that enough. I mean, Reddy getting 105, he batted at 8. Corbin Bosch, I think, is at 9 for South Africa. He got South Africa out of trouble. And Dale Steyn in that MCG test match, it was in 2008, I think it was, an absolutely electrifying atmosphere. When you talk about great stadiums of the world, MCG is one of them. More because it's a packed house. You've got the Australians, fans and supporters in Bay 13, I think it is, creating a good vibe. And in that test match, it was neck to neck, a really close one. JP Duminy, I think, was playing his second test match, and he was batting beautifully. And who came in to support him? Dale Steyn. He came in, I think it must have been 9 or 10. Again, lower order runs being so crucial, and Dale contributed with 70 odd. And I remember when he got out on 72 or 74 or 76, thank you for me, when he got out at 76, and he looked knackered, tired as anything. And Dale Steyn being the fittest cricketer that I've ever played with. So he came up and he said, how do you guys do this? It's so tiring. So I had a little giggle to myself. I said, well, I can't imagine bowling like him. But that just shows the different fitness that you need for batting and for bowling. But it was a fantastic game that your lower order contributed and got us into a winning position again.
Yeah, and it's such an occasion. I mean, think about the number of people that turn up through the gates at Melbourne, at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. 100,000, they'll tell you, and it is as loud as you like, and as the opposition, obviously quite daunting as a task. And generally, Australia win those test matches, so to be able to turn it around is a monumental feat because it's against the odds.
Yes, I remember Melbourne very clearly, 92 World Cup final. We had a crowd of 88,000, and the only time Australians cheered for us because we were playing England.
Yeah, let's take you back, actually, and a look at this test match. And this is on the back of South Africa in the test match before in Perth, having chased down 414 and won and gone one up from another position that was rather precarious because of Mitchell Johnson taking 5 for 1 and in the end of a day, I can't remember if it was day 2 or day 3, and they were in trouble there. Then they follow up and turn that around and come and be in a similar situation here, 394 Australia, and Ponting with that 100. Yeah, I was going to say, did he score in both innings? No, he got out to Harris, didn't he? In that second innings when he was going to get 200s in the same game. Steyn 5 for 87. South Africa 459. Duminy with 166. And you don't see Steyn 76 there, where 6 down for not many. It just looked like that was it. Many went to bed, I think, in South Africa, thinking, oh, did I wake up for this? And then woke up the next day to find South Africa had turned it around. And then Steyn again with ball in hand to get 5 for 67. And yeah, I think you were at the crease, weren't you, Hashim, to finish it off 183 for 1.
Yeah, just bringing back good memories here for me. JP's 166 was exquisite batting. Obviously playing his second test match against a really good bowling attack. And not only that, you know, when you're a youngster coming into the team, you're playing against guys like Ricky Ponting, Matthew Hayden, Adam Gilchrist, and it's pretty surreal because these are the personalities and the great players that we grow up watching. And I remember whilst we were fielding and Ricky Ponting was piling the runs on, it was, you know, guilty pleasure, so to say, watching it. Because honestly, he's one of those batsmen that I loved watching bat, because he batted at 3 as well. So obviously being a number 3 batsman for the South African team, or having ambitions to play for South Africa, you kind of look for batsmen around the world in a similar position and you admire them and you take some of their lessons from their batting. So watching him bat was just, you know, as a guilty pleasure, and I just the straight drives and that front press of his, and if anybody dropped short, you were basically fetching it from the stands. It was just great batting. And then when we came to bat and JP got 166 and that lovely partnership with Dale Steyn, the game was just ebbing and flowing. We were on top, Australia on top. And when you see Dale's 10 for in that game, geez, I wish we could get the highlights here. It was just magical. The aggression and the way that he got us back into the game. And yeah, it's no surprise that Graham Smith 75 in chasing totals. I mean, he's always been known to be one of the great chasers or the 4th innings batsmen of the world. And it was just a great game. Sorry, I just labored on there, but it was just a good, great memories that have just come to the mind.
Who are you sorry to exactly? No, not to us. I'm sure those who are listening, wherever they are, they're saying, yeah, go on. What else happened? What can't we see on that scorecard that might have happened in the game?
Well, I know there was a drop catch of Ricky Ponting. I won't say who dropped it, but drop catches happen.
We'll guess.
No, drop catches happen. Thankfully, it wasn't me, but drop catches happen. But you know, it was it was 2000. So I must have been around 25, around that age, 25, 26, and just playing with those big players, Hayden, Cullis, Ponting, Smith. You've got giants of the game on the field. You're basically living the dream as a youngster, as a cricketer on the field. That's just something that, you know, will certainly remain with me and anybody who watched that game. As you said, there will be many spectators in South Africa who woke up and they're thinking, what is going on here? What has just happened? And they desperately get onto the TV looking for the highlights to see what has South Africa done, and it was just magical.
Yeah, and it is why, Rambo, we love the test match game, because there is that opportunity for a side to come back, and we kind of related to this test match where the position looks as if things are going one way particularly, but you can't know for certain because there is just that glimmer, that opportunity for something else to happen, and it